My husband was like, do you want me to play the playlist? I said, if I hear anything, no playlist, I don't want to hear anything, just quiet, everybody quiet in the room. I was a bad patient, you guys. I was a bad patient. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Veronica here again. How are you guys doing? Thank you guys for always tuning in. Thank you for always coming back. How is your day going? I hope you're having a great day so far. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys my emotional, horrific labor and delivery story. You guys, I had a 10-pound baby. Yes, 10 pounds. Naturally, yes, you heard me right. 10 pounds naturally. Oh, before we move on, welcome to our new subscribers. Welcome. I see you guys. Thank you so much for joining the family. To my OGs, thank you for always tuning in. Thank you for always coming back. I appreciate you all. All right, so my labor and delivery story. Like I said earlier, I had a 10 pounds baby vaginally. Where do we start from? Let's go to the first scan. I was 8 weeks pregnant and I went for my first scan. When I got there, they told me that my son was weighing 10 days over, like older than his age. So from beginning, he was always big. Fast forward to 37 week, I was so tired. I was always calling in at work. Matter of fact, I actually stopped working at 37 weeks. 38 weeks, I actually begged my doctor to let me deliver this baby through induction, and she refused. She was like, well, there is no reason to schedule you for an induction. We have to have a reason, but we don't have any reason. I was like, what do you mean? You've always told me from beginning that this child is bigger than his age. So if he's weighing at 37 weeks, weighing 8 pounds, or at 38 weeks, weighing 8 pounds, you know, if we get to 40 weeks, then he'll be way bigger than that. So let's just induce me, right? She refused. When I clocked 39 weeks, she eventually allowed me to get induced. So she told me 38 weeks and 6 days at 12 midnight. She told me to be at the hospital at 11:59. So that by 12 midnight, I'm already in the bed. So I got there, I got induced with a medication called Cytotec. If you know Cytotec, it's very, very tiny. They have to kind of shove it in, you know, through that way. They have to kind of shove it in, and it has to stay and melt and then get your cervix ready. I don't know if that nurse did it the right way. I don't know if the thing came back out with her gloves. I don't know. But I was at the hospital for 36 hours. I labored for 36 hours, you guys. 36 hours. Can you hear me? Do you want me to say it louder? 36 hours. So for the first 17 hours, I was just 1.5 centimeters. 1.5 centimeter. The first 17 hours. And then the nurse was like, oh, I'm just going to call the doctor and they might just send you home. What did you just say? Repeat. After staying here for 17 hours, you're going to send me home? I'm not going home. Call the doctor. The nurse called the doctor. The doctor came to the hospital and she's like, oh, I'm going to check you. If you're not 2 centimeters or 3 centimeters where I can break your water, then you're going to go home. I was like, ma'am, I'm not going home. After being here for 17 hours, the doctor checked me and she's like, well, you're 2 centimeters. I guess you don't have to go home. I'm going to try to break your water. And then at this point, I knew it was going to be painful after they break my water. But I waited on the epidural a little bit because I wanted to feel contraction. You know, first time mom, let me feel this thing that, you know, all these other women feel. You know how I mean, I deliver babies without knowing the actual pain. Let me just feel it. Let me feel contraction. My brothers and sisters, the first 5 minutes, not the first 5 contractions, the first 5 minutes, so probably had 2 contractions. I was like, epidural, please, I am ready. Call the anesthesiologist, call the doctor, I am ready for my epidural. So the doctor came, they did the epidural, I was screaming. Let me just tell you guys, I was a bad patient. I was a bad patient. I forgot that I was a nurse. I forgot I was a labor and delivery nurse. Matter of fact, no shame. No shame. So they did the epidural, and we were good. A couple of hours went by, and I finally made it to 4 centimeter. Now 2 shifts already passed. Now we're talking about 24 hours later. Still not 8 centimeters, still not 10 centimeters. So another shift came, and it was this Jamaican lady. She came and she was like, oh, you're still here? It's been how many days and you're still here? So she was like, you know what? I'm just going to turn off everything. I'm going to turn off the Pitocin. I'm going to turn everything off. You just go to the bathroom, go take a shower, or do whatever you need to do. And then we're just going to let you rest a little bit. We'll start all over with a new bag of Pitocin and everything. Oh, and by the way, at that point, they told me not to eat, right? So I told my husband to go stand by the door, and I started eating biscuits. I told him, go stand by the door. If you see anybody coming, just let me know. I'll throw it under the bed. So anyway, so the nurse did that, turned everything off, and then she just allowed me rest for a couple of, I think 30 minutes to an hour, and she started everything all over. Not even 2 hours into this lady doing this, I went straight to 8 centimeters, and we got stuck right there at 8 centimeters for more, like for hours and hours and hours and hours. And the doctor at this point was getting worried, and she was like, oh, if we start seeing any distress, if the baby starts having any distress, we're gonna have to go do a C-section. I was like, huh? I've been here 30 something minutes. Now we're gonna go have a C-section. I finally made it to 8 centimeters, 9 centimeters. Now we're gonna go do a C-section. I was like, no. It was as if the devil just knew what this lady said. My baby's heart rate started going down. I kept looking at the monitor. Since I can read it, I know what I'm looking at. I kept looking at the monitor to make sure. So as soon as I saw that it was the baby's heart rate was starting to go down, I think the nurses also realized, and then they came to the room and told me, oh, the heart rate is going down. We already called the doctor, and the doctor is saying that we should prepare you for C-section. You guys, I woke my husband up, and I was like, oh, look at what they're saying. Look at what is going on. And he was like, oh, no. So he started praying. If you know, my husband is very prayerful. He started praying. And while he was praying, you guys, while he was praying, I was looking at the monitor, looking at the baby's heart rate. It started coming back up. The heart rate was going down. My husband started praying, and then the heart rate just started coming back up. Miracle. Miracle. God is just faithful. So the heart rate just got stable and just stayed where it was supposed to stay. Good. So the doctor came back and was like, oh, you know, we don't have to do the C-section anymore. The heart rate is looking better. Let me check you. She checked me, and I made it to 9 centimeters. So we needed 1 more centimeters to go. You guys, my epidural stopped working. Anesthesiologists came. They tried to give me more medicine. It worked for a couple of, like about 30 minutes to an hour. And then it stopped working again. So at this point, they were like, okay, there's nothing we can do. You're just going to have to, you know, bear the pain. And at this point, I was already crying because with every contraction, the pain was getting worse and worse and worse with every contraction. And since my epidural wouldn't work, I just had to deal with it. I had to deal with it. I made it to 10 centimeters. Everybody got dressed. My husband was in the room. My sister-in-law was in the room. I had a playlist that me and my husband already set up that, oh, we're just going to play some Christian music and we're going to blah, 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 blah. When I started pushing, my husband was like, do you want me to play the playlist? I said, if I hear anything, no playlist. I don't want to hear anything. Just quiet. Everybody quiet in the room. I was a bad patient, you guys. I was a bad patient. In my head, I kept thinking, Veronica, push like you usually teach the other patient. Like, push like you usually teach the patient. Push as if you want to poop. Sorry, TMI. Push as if you want to poop, you know. And if you poop, it's okay. You're pushing out a whole baby. If you poop, it is okay. And that's what I kept thinking in my head. So at that point, I was like, I started pushing like, you know, the other side, like I was about to poop. And that helped the baby's head push down some more. So the baby's head push down some more, and for a long time, I guess after pushing for so long, the doctor wasn't comfortable anymore. The heart rate started coming down again, so she had to give me an episiotomy. It's a little graphic, but that's when they cut you. And then even with that, the head wouldn't come any further, so they did a vacuum. So I did episiotomy and I did vacuum. So they vacuumed, they pulled the baby's head out. Usually once they pull the head out, the rest of the body is supposed to come out. But my baby's shoulders got stuck. So I had this word is always very difficult for me. I had a shoulder dystocia, meaning head is out, the shoulders are like stuck. The doctor started screaming shoulder. Once they say that, everybody starts running into the room. So I had nurses climbing on top of me, pushing down my pelvic area. They pulled my knees close to my face, and my husband just couldn't take it at this point. I looked and I saw him facing the wall screaming, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I'm over here saying, are you okay? Even though I was crying, I was still worried about him. After pulling my leg to the back and, putting that pressure on my pelvic, while they were doing all of this, the doctor was also pulling. And the doctor wasn't expecting a big baby, and the baby just poof, came out. She almost dropped my baby. Like, she had to catch the baby. Like, it was just that force. She had to catch the baby, and she gave the baby over to the nursery nurse. So I'm looking over, the baby's not crying. I'm over here crying. Baby is not crying, and they did all they needed to do, and then he started crying. And that's because he went through distress himself. Like, all of this, 36 hours of labor, all that contraction, the baby was also in distress. But so the doctor was repairing me and cleaning me up, and the nursery nurse was like, oh, Veronica, guess what? I looked over to her, like, I'm gonna put pictures here and there. I looked over to her and she's like, your baby is 9 pounds 14 ounces. As soon as she said that, I'm still looking. As soon as she said that, I just looked down to the doctor. I didn't even say anything to the nurse. I looked down to the doctor and I was like, how bad is my tear? How bad is my tear? And she's like, oh, it's just a third degree. Third degree. And also, before she cut me, I told her I could still feel everything. And she's like, oh, and I saw her holding the scissors. I was like, I can feel everything. Please give me some more medicine. Please give me some lidocaine. This lady thought I was joking. I wouldn't let her cut me until they went and gave me some lidocaine. And then I said, okay, now you can do what you need to do. And then, I allowed her to cut me. So I didn't feel the cuts. But when she started sewing, I felt a little bit of pain. But yeah, so that's how I delivered my baby. It was very, very emotional, very painful delivery. After the delivery, I was in the bed. You know how you just find a comfortable spot? I was in my comfortable spot, and this nurse just came to me and was like, oh, we need to take you to go pee. I looked at her, I was like, did I tell you I need to pee? She's like, oh, but you need to get up and pee first. We need to make sure that you can pee before we can take you to postpartum. I looked at the lady, I was like, if I move a butt cheek right now, I'm going to be in pain. So let me just stay in my one position, okay? Let me just stay in my one position. I don't want to pee. The lady kept saying, you have to. Another nurse came and said, you have to pee, you have to pee, you have to get up and pee. So they helped me to get up, and eventually I went to go pee. And then they took me to postpartum. The next day, my doctor came in. You guys, I was hiding my face. As soon as the doctor came in, I hid my face. I was like, I'm so sorry. I know I was acting like a crazy person. Like my legs were all over the place. I was screaming. I was the bad patient. I'm so sorry. And she's like, no, it's okay. You had a 10-pound baby. Like, you did better than I thought you would do. Like, it's okay. I'm not mad, because I yelled at the doctor, you guys. I yelled at the doctor. But anyway, so that is my labor and delivery story. What do you guys think? Don't laugh at me too much. It's not easy. Having a 10 pounds baby vaginally, not easy. Best believe after that day, I was a lot more nicer to the patients. I was a lot more nicer to the patient. I had more compassion, knowing what these women are going through or about to go through in labor. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for sticking up until this time. I will see you in my next video. You guys take care. Bye. Love you guys. Mwah.